read an excerpt from the National Black Catholic Congress website in reference to the Mother of Africa. Our Mother of Africa, holding the Christ child, looks down upon us. She strides forward toward the narrative relief in the nave, and her divine Son gestures for us to read the relief, which spans the African-American experience from slavery to emancipation. In other words, not just mother to the continent of Africa, but all her descendants scattered all over the world. So welcome invited guests, welcome all members of the African diaspora. The African Catholic Association has undertaken this pilgrimage for the last 2 years to the Mother of Africa Chapel at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C. But the chapel has been in existence much longer than that. I think it's important to learn a bit about the history of it before we begin our celebration. To that end, I'm inviting a special lady, Mrs. Sandra Coles-Bell, to give us a brief history of the chapel. Sandra Coles-Bell has been a member of the Archdiocese of Washington since she moved into Washington, D.C. in the 7th grade. She formerly worked at the Archdiocese of Washington's Pastoral Center in the Office of Cultural Diversity. Sandra serves as a lector, scheduler, and lector at her church, as well as at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, where she has served as a lector for several masses televised on Eternal Word Television Network, or EWTN. He holds a bachelor's in biology from Lincoln University in Pennsylvania and a master's in administration from University of Maryland's University College, currently known as the Global Campus in College Park. He's a mother of 3 children, as well as a grandmother of 3. Sandra, thank you for your support to the ACA and for agreeing to continue to be our advisor as we strive to work closely with our American siblings. Please welcome Sandra to give us the history of the Mother of Africa Chapel.
Thank you so much, Bernadette, for your very kind words. And also thank you to each one of you for embracing me as your American cousin. That is what Mary does. She embraces us all. And that's the depictions that we see at the Basilica of the National Shrine. For many years, from its inception, we saw the depictions of her from Europe. We saw the depictions of her from Asia. We saw the depictions of her from Mexico and South America. And yet we did not see the depictions of her from us. And that is the inception of how the Mother of Africa Chapel came to be. Under the guidance of Bishop, who was then in charge of the National Black Catholic Congress, Bishop Ricard charged every African-American Catholic within the country to donate money to build a chapel within the Basilica that reflected us. That is why we see the image of our mother with a nose that looks like mine, with hair that looks like mine, holding a child that looks like my own children and grandchildren. And for the first time in history, we had a depiction of Mary in a non-European form that we could embrace. As you walk through the doors, you see on the floor the diaspora, the slave ship, the markings of what brought us apart from each other. And yet with the African Catholic Association, it has been and continues to be the celebration of what we understand is an ocean that can never keep us apart. That is what our mother does for us. I wish I could remember the years. I wish I could remember the moments of spending and encountering each one of you. There are too many. And if I called out the name of one, I'd have to start calling out the name of all. It is with great love and great honor and great respect that Monsignor Buonanno approached me several years ago and said, "We have not honored her." Every chapel in this basilica has had a group, a cultural group, to honor her. And that began how we started the pilgrimage to our Mother of Africa chapel. And I am so grateful, incredibly grateful, to the African Catholic Association to have picked up that baton that was started at the Office of Cultural Diversity and to carry it through to today, and I know until tomorrow. The oceans have tried to separate us, but one thing that we do know, that the Spirit of God and His Mother that is seen in that basilica will never, ever keep us apart. And with that, I am incredibly grateful to each one of you. Know that I love you. I miss you terribly. Virtual embrace to every one of you. And my sincere thanks for accepting this American cousin of yours into your hearts, and to some of you into your homes. Thank you so much, and thank you, Bernadette.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you for enlightening us about the history of it and how important it is that we continue this tradition.